Unit 4, Day 1 homework tutorial. I will work through the even problems with you. For the first section of problems, they would like for us to classify each triangle based off of their angles. So tell whether it's acute, equiangular, obtuse, or right. So on problem 2, we have an 85-degree angle, a 65-degree angle, and a 30-degree angle. Since all of those angles are less than 90, this would be an acute triangle. In the next section, they want us to classify each triangle based off of their sides. So that way it would either be scalene, isosceles, or equilateral. So the first triangle we're going to look at is triangle ABD. If you look at each side of ABD, they all have that single tick mark, indicating that all three sides have the same length. So since they have the same length, though this is an equilateral triangle. Since it is equilateral, it is also an isosceles triangle because every equilateral is isosceles as well. Forgive the handwriting, I know it's awful. Now let's look at triangle EDC. Here's E, D, and there's C. Well, again, we're only focusing on the sides. And on side ED, it has two tick marks. Side DC has a singular tick mark. And side EC is not labeled as either or. So that means it's a different length altogether. So all three sides are different, which means it would be scalene. And number 8, it wants us to use algebra for each triangle to find x and the measure of each side. It states that triangle FGH is an equilateral triangle with side FG equaling to x plus 5, side GH equaling to 3x minus 9, and side FH equaling to 2x minus 2. Since it is equilateral, you can take any two sides and equal them to each other. Any two sides and equal them to each other. So I could say that FG is equal to GH. I could say GH is equal to FH. Or I could say FH is equal to FG. Either setup would work just fine to find X. You're not going to set all three equal to each other. It just takes two to get to your answer. So I'm going to go with the first one I wrote. Why not? FG equals GH. So that means X plus 5 equals 3X minus 9. First thing I would do in this equation is subtract X from both sides. So that would leave me with 5 equals 2X minus 9. Then I would add 9 to both sides, which would give me 14 equals 2x. Then I would divide both sides by 2, which would leave me with 7 is equal to x. All right, so great. We found x, which was the first part of the directions. Now we have to find the lengths of each one of the three sides. Thankfully, this is equilateral, so that means we just need to substitute x into one of the sides, and then you would know the rest of them. So I'm going to go with the one that seems the most simple, and that's FG. We know that FG is equal to x plus 5, which means it's equal to 7 plus 5, which would be 12. And since it's equilateral again, all three sides are going to be the same. So that means side FG is equal to side GH, which is equal to side FH, which will all equal 12. And this concludes your tutorial for today.